I know you want the best for me, but my people need me. My mother is in pains. Who will I spend the money on if I lose her after making the money? It is better I spend on her now before it is too late for me. Please give me some time. I'll be back in no distant time. Let me go and bring life back to my village, and then return to the city to make the money. The sound of home in the heart of Iduma, a peaceful village surrounded by hills and wide skies. A village where everyone loved to help each other. The unity in the village was second to none. Iduma village was a very calm village with less noise. One could hardly notice that there were people in the homes during a calm afternoon when taking a walk through the village path. The town was known with its fertile land, good for farming, and its good music. There was this sound that everyone loved to hear. This sound draws everybody's attention whenever it is heard. It is the sound of a drum. The rhythm from the sound of that drum is the best the village had ever heard. Both the old said that they never heard such beautiful sound during their youthful days. Behind the melodious sound, the drum that everyone liked to hear was the handsome and hardworking drummer. His name was Obinna. Obinna was the son of late Chief Amechi, who was the son of Agaba, the renowned village drummer. But Ichie Amechi did not get the talent. Rather, his son Obinna did. It was said that Obinna inherited his drumming skills from his grandfather, Agaba, but was specially blessed by the ancestors because he played more better and sweet rhythm than his grandfather. Some even said that 100 of his grandfather's talent could not match 10% of his. He was the talk of the whole town, as no event would come and go without Obinna playing his sweet melodies there. In fact, the villagers took it that any event without Obinna playing was like a child's play. Every evening, Obinna would sit under the big tree in the village square and play. The rhythm was so sweet, so strong, that even birds would pause their flight to dance to his music. Children danced, the elderly tapped their feet, and even goats seemed to sway. Children do their house chores quickly immediately after school so they could go to the village square to dance to Obinna's rhythm. The elders also hurried back home every evening to listen to his rhythm. Some said that they feel relieved from stress after listening and watching Obinna play. Some people say that if you are having a bad day, just go to the village square in the evening and listen to Obinna play to his drums. Then you will forget your sorrows and dance like David danced in the Bible. The rhythm of live drumming wasn't just a skill for Obinna. It was a gift, just as he learned from his grandfather, who once said, "The drum doesn't lie. It speaks the truth of the people." Obinna's handsomeness made other men feel they were cheated by nature. Not only is Obinna awesomely made, he possessed a talent that no other person in the village and beyond could come close to, even if they learned for decades. These were the words of one of the village youth. Obinna was a good drummer, such that whenever he played, people remembered their joy and forget their pain. He was known as the heartbeat of Iduma. People attended occasions not because of the purpose of the occasion, but because Obinna would play, and they were eager to listen to his rhythm. During one of the village New Yam festivals, the elders called him forward. One of them placed a hand on Obinna's shoulder and said, "Your drum carries our stories. It revives our mood and strengthens our hope. Never stop playing." The children cheered. Everyone appreciated him with a round of applause. Obinna smiled, humble and grateful. Girls in the village liked Obinna and would do anything possible to gain his attention. But Obinna liked Ngozi. She had been his friend since they were little. They met at the stream one cool evening. With a gentle smile and a shy look on Ngozi's face, she greeted, "Good evening, the greatest drummer of our time." Obinna playfully tapped a rhythm on her pot. She laughed. "You make everything into a drum," she teased. Obinna smiled, hiding his feelings because he couldn't speak up yet. One of the richest chiefs in the village hosted his daughter's traditional marriage. Dignitaries from far and wide attended the event. Men from the city, government officials, and people from abroad were all in attendance. The celebrity of the town, Obinna, was invited by the chief to play. When it was time to showcase his skills, Obinna played, and the visitors marveled. They have not heard such melodious rhythm in decades. One of the visitors watched Obinna perform and was surprised at his talent. His name was Mr. Ray. He clapped louder than everyone and smiled with interest. He called Obinna aside after his performance. "My name is Ray. I own a big music studio in Lagos. Your drumming skills can make you a star and make you lots of money," he said, handing Obinna a glossy card. "I am making you an offer to come to Lagos and play in my club, and I'll be paying you for every performance. Give me a call when you are ready to come," he added, and left. Obinna blinked. "A star? Me? How is that even possible?" he said. Obinna sat outside the house that night, thinking. Fame sounded sweet, but he loved his home. His mother noticed that he was lost in thought and tapped him and asked what bothered him. He told his mother about the offer from Mr. Ray. His mother said, "It is good to go and make money in the city, but don't forget your root. If you leave, remember who you are. Don't be distracted." He nodded but stayed quiet. After 1 week, Obinna made the decision of going to Lagos. He told his mother that he had decided to go, but won't forget his root. His mother couldn't help but cry silently. He told the villagers he was leaving. There was sadness and quietness when the news spread around the village. It was as if the village king had passed on. Ngozi didn't say much. She only gave him a carved bead and said, "Keep it with you always. It will remind you about home." He took it and left. That night, Ngozi cried as if she had lost her mother. Obinna's mother, on the other hand, cried more than she did when she lost her husband. Obinna arrived Lagos the next evening. It was his first time leaving the village. The city was loud. Cars, horns, voices. It felt like the drums never stopped. Obinna arrived with hope and nerves. Mr. Ray welcomed him and promised to give him the world. Obinna, filled with hope, accepted to work with him. 2 days after he arrived in Lagos, Obinna appeared on the Lagos stage. He played at a club at night. Lights flashed. People screamed, money flew, people were happy and heard another rhythm different from the usual ones they heard often. Obinna felt like a king. One of the guests asked Mr. Ray where he had kept such talent all the while. Mr. Ray laughed out loud and said, "The best is yet to come." He felt very fulfilled that night because Obinna made him famous. When Obinna got home the next morning, Mr. Ray kept to his promise and paid him a huge amount of money from what he realized the previous night. Obinna was happy, but deep inside, something felt off. He missed his village. He missed making old people forget their sorrows and little children laugh. He had said that he would not leave the village until he trained some young people to entertain the villagers with the drum, just like he did. Days passed into weeks, weeks into months, and Obinna was becoming famous by the day. He got new clothes, shoes, a new phone, and more fans. His name was shouted in clubs and event centers. His posters were everywhere, but he still felt unfulfilled. He returned to his apartment on a fateful day and found a letter on the door. It was from his mother. "We miss you. The village is quiet. The children don't dance any longer. We have lost 5 elders since you left due to depression. The other drummers are not as good as you are, and they don't play in the evening as you used to do. I miss you, my son. The villagers miss you. Please come home soon." Tears dropped from his eyes as he read the letter. He made up his mind to visit home as soon as possible. "I have some money now, and my mother is suffering at home. I really need to reach home," he said to himself. Mr. Ray saw the letter in Obinna's room. "Don't waste time on the past," he said. "Keep your eyes on fame. Forget the village and make money." Obinna was speechless. He said to himself, "I left home to make money, but I have already made some, and my mother is still suffering in the village. What if my mother dies suffering and ends up not spending this money that I'm making? I will never forgive myself if such thing happens. I will go and see my mother." Back in Iduma, the drums were silent. The square was empty. The air felt heavy. Festivals were shorter. Even laughter had faded. People died more often because nothing to keep them happy any longer. The drums had gone silent. Similar thing happened when Obinna's grandfather was alive. He fell sick at a time, and the village went into total silence because their joy seemed to be at stake. Whenever the drums go silent, the village would look like a mourning ground. Ngozi noticed that things were getting out of hand in the village. One night, she sat by a candlelight and wrote, "Obinna, Iduma is not the same since you left. The rhythm left with you. We don't want the star. We miss the boy. If only the village can hear your rhythm once again, everything will be revived." Obinna received the letter and made arrangements to visit home immediately. But there was a problem. He had an event he needed to play at. He had been paid part payment for that event. He was booked for his biggest concert. His face smiled from a giant billboard. People said, "You have made it." But he felt hollow. His mind was all at home. He wanted to be at home the next minute. He decided to wait until after the event. On the night of the concert, Obinna stormed the stage and sat before his drum. thinking about how he did it at home and people surrounding him. His hands froze. The crowd waited, but in his mind, he was hearing the stream clapping against the stones, the laughter in the village square, his mother's voice in the letter she wrote to him, and Ngozi's voice in the letter she wrote to him. The smiles on the faces of the villagers whenever he played. The dance steps of the children in the village. Tears rolled down his cheek. He stood up immediately, left the drum behind, and walked out of the stage. People shouted, confused. Mr. Ray chased after him and asked what the matter was, but Obinna remained silent. At a point, he stood and faced his boss and said, "Boss, I know you want the best for me, but my people need me. My mother is in pains. Who will I spend the money on if I lose her after making the money? It is better I spend on her now before it is too late for me. Please give me some time. I'll be back in no distant time. Let me go and bring life back to my village, and then return to the city to make the money." Mr. Ray was moved by his words. He nodded his head and tapped Obinna's shoulder and said, "You can go, my dear, and come back when you are ready to continue." Obinna arrived Iduma the next morning. His mother cried and hugged him. News spread round the village that he was back. The villagers came out to welcome him. The atmosphere was filled with joy. He went behind their house and found his old drum where he had left it. Cracked, dusty, he cleaned it slowly, smiling, whispering, "I have missed you." His mother stood by the door, watching him with smiles. That evening, he took the drum to the usual spot. People had already gathered before he got there, knowing fully well that he would definitely play that evening. He hit the first beat, soft, unsure, then another and another. A child smiled. Happiness filled the air. There were songs of joy. The elderly smiled and tapped their feet. The children started dancing and clapping. Obinna smiled wider. His happiness seemed to be complete. The rhythm came back to life, like fire in a dry wood. Ngozi stepped into the square. She walked up and joined him, clapping. Obinna looked at her and smiled. Ngozi saw how happy the villagers were and smiled, with tears of joy rolling down her cheeks. It was like the resurrection of their savior in the village. A week later, the festival returned. There were dancers, singers, storytellers, and other entertainers. But people went to the square because of Obinna. They have missed his rhythm. He played all day and stayed till night. People refused to go home. They were not tired of dancing yet. Obinna smiled. His joy wasn't fame, it was this, seeing the people happy. Few days after the festival, he called the teenagers together. "Who wants to learn the drum?" he asked. Dozens raised their hands. "Good. You will carry our sound forward. I will teach you all how to play the drum like me, so that you can keep the village alive while I'm away." He built a hut by the stream where he taught people how to beat the drum, and called it the House of Rhythm. Adults and children from the village and nearby villages came to learn. He used his money to purchase drum for all the learners. He taught them with joy. They learned very fast. Soon, drummers from Iduma were invited to other towns. The village became famous, not for fame's sake, but for its soul and what they were known with. Obina taught them to keep the village alive by following his steps and playing for the people at the village square every evening. Obina sat under a mango tree with his mother, with smiles on their faces. "I thought I wanted the world," he said. She replied, "But you brought the world here. Look how happy everyone is. If you go back to the city tomorrow to continue your work there, your absence will not be felt that much here because you have trained many Obinas. Even though the villagers would still want you whenever they set their eyes on you. But we will be much better now." Obina nodded and hugged his mother. After a successful mission in the village, Obina planned to return to Lagos. He introduced Ngozi to his mother as the girl he wanted to marry and promised to be back in 6 months' time to complete the marital rites. He pleaded with Ngozi to take care of his mother while he was away. Before he left the next morning, he beat his drum alone for the last time. One final beat echoed across the hills. Soft, strong, peaceful. The drum had spoken. And this time, it would never go silent again. Moral lesson from this story: don't run to shine elsewhere. Sometimes your true light waits where you started. Fame is not all that matters, but happiness and being fulfilled. Do not forget where you came from. If your parents and your family will not live to enjoy that world you ignore them to pursue, then there is no reason to chase after it.